Hi everybody, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my most anticipated 2024 releases. So I have like 17-ish to 20 books that I'm going to talk about. I don't really have an exact number because some of the books I'm just going to be talking about the author and all of their releases that are coming out in the next year. I'm talking about these books. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the plot, why I'm excited for them. I'm not going to talk about release dates because one, I don't care to look it up. And two, if the book sounds good to you, go crazy. But anyways, let's get into this video. So, like many people out there in the world, and this is the top of the list. These are mostly going to be in no particular order, but obviously we know the most anticipated book in 2024, probably for about half the population, is House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. This is the third book in the Crescent City series, and if you know, you know. Crescent City is a high fantasy, sort of almost urban kind of style fantasy by Sarah J. Maas, the first book being House of Earth and Blood, and the second book being House of Sky and Breath. This is Sarah J. Maas's third official series, and the second book ended on a gigantic cliffhanger, like fucking huge cliffhanger, and I just need to know what happens. We all need to know what happens. We are on the edge of our seats, and I didn't read this book directly when it came out, but I did read it over a year ago, and I am just, every day I think about the fact that there is a little over a month until this book comes out, and you bet your ass I will be at Barnes & Noble or fucking my indie bookstore buying a copy on the first day it's out, because good God, I have to know what happens. So that's it. I could literally end this video here, and I feel like everybody would get me. But let's continue. The next book I am excited to read in 2024 is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I have read kind of all of Emily Henry's newer releases. Her little, she's kind of creating like a little cinematic universe. But Funny Story is going to be her next installment, and this is a romance novel about two people who get divorced, and then their exes fall in love, and then they kind of meet to wallow in their despair, and then fall in love. Pretty sure that's the plot. That sounds good. I just think this premise is really funny, really interesting, and I just, it's Emily Henry. I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna cry, and it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be fun. The cover is also really cute. I think it's one of my favorite covers that she's released, although Happy Place cover was really good. But this is Funny Story by Emily Henry. Okay, the next book that I'm anticipating is more just like an idea, but that is a book from Becky Chambers. She has a 2024 release slated. I don't have anything to put here, so I'm gonna put a screenshot that she has a 2024 release slated, but Becky Chambers wrote the Wayfarer series and then the Monk and Robot duology. The Wayfarer series is what got me into sci-fi. It is, in my opinion, one of the best science opera series out there. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And Becky Chambers is just such a fantastic writer. So I don't know what she's coming out with in 2024, but I am going to be reading it because how could I not? So whatever this book is, I'm gonna love it, but I just want to include it on here because it's coming out, and I'm gonna read it, and it's gonna be fucking fantastic. The next books I'm gonna talk about together because they're by the same author, and that is Ali Hazelwood's two 2024 releases, and that is Bride and Not in Love. Bride is her first kind of diversion from contemporary romance. It's a paranormal romance. It's about a vampire and an alpha werewolf that I think fake date? I don't know. The cover is gorgeous, obviously, and it's going to be so refreshing to read something different from Ali Hazelwood because I mean, as much as I love her books and I eat them up, I'm sure we are all getting tired of the Manic Pixie Dream Scientist and her fucking jacked Adam Driver coded boyfriend. So really excited to read something that's kind of fresh and different from her, and also it'll be fun to just kind of read a different genre. I'm not really super into paranormal romance. I normally just read contemporary romance. So I'm excited to read a different genre from Ali Hazelwood and then read a genre that's a little bit different to me. And Not in Love. I don't know what it's about. Okay. So we're back in science. Okay, Not in Love. Fun cover. A forbidden secret affair proves that all's fair in love and science. We have Rue and we have Eli, and they sort of have rivaling companies. Or Eli's business is trying to purchase the business that startup that Rue works at, and then they just kind of throw caution in the wind and start banging, and I don't know. I'm gonna fucking read it. I don't even need to know what it's about, you know? Like, I would read her grocery list at this point, so that's good for me. The next book on this list is called Business Casual, E.K. Borison. This is the 4th book that is coming out. So I am desperate for the series to get picked up by the Small Town Romance girlies, but alas. This is just a interconnected standalone contemporary romance series set in the small town of Inglewild. Each book takes place during a different season. So Love Light Farms is winter, and then we go into spring, summer, and then I believe this one is fall. And this series is so fucking good. I cannot believe it's not as popular as it should be. Like, everybody talks about Chestnut Springs and all these other small town romances, but this is my Roman Empire. I think about this book all the fucking time. I love this series, and this is I believe it's the final book, because, yeah, I believe it's the final book because each book takes place during a season, so it's, they do like a one night, no strings attached, and then obviously go from there, but both of these characters have been featured in most of the other books. Love them a lot. I'm so excited to see their story and just to see where it goes, and I'm really, really sad that this is the final book in the series. But so Business Casual by B.K. Borison, I'm super fucking excited. Okay, and then the next book is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. Ava Reid is quickly becoming an auto-buy author for me. I read her other 2 books. I've not read A Study in Drowning yet. This is a Shakespeare retelling, but instead of focusing on Macbeth, it focuses on Lady Macbeth. I never read this Shakespeare book, so I don't really know what it's about, but, you know, I really love feminist historical retellings, and I love looking at historical books from a different point of view, so I'm super excited to pick this one up. I also really like Ava Reid's writing, so I feel like I can't go wrong. And the next book that I am so excited to read in 2024 is Old Flames and New Fortunes by Sarah Hogle. I really, really like Sarah Hogle. Her books are just fun. They just make me feel good inside. You Deserve Each Other. I cried laughing during that fucking book. It's just fun, easy to read, just a good fucking time. And so this is her next release. God knows what it's a fucking about. Okay, a steamy second chance romance about a magical florist's unexpected reunion with her high school sweetheart as she fake dates his soon-to-be stepbrother? This just seems like a fun, quirky rom-com. I really like Sarah Hogle's writing, so I really don't see how I can go wrong with this book. Okay, and so the next books we're going to talk about is, I'm just going to group them all together because they're all by the same author, and that is Aiden Thomas. Aiden Thomas wrote Cemetery Boys, which was one of the best books that I've pretty much ever read. Everybody should read that book. And then they also wrote the Sunbearer Trials, which is the first book in a, like, fantasy mythology sort of retelling. And so, on Storygraph, Aiden has 4 books slated to come out in 2024. They have the second book in the Sunbearer duology, a Cemetery Boys sequel, a book that just says Gay Titanic in Space, and then a book called Just Max. So, as somebody who is a huge fan of this author, I cannot wait to read anything that they release. I don't know if all 4 of these books are going to come out next year, but if they do, you bet your ass I'll be reading all of them. I don't even know what Gay Titanic in Space even means, but boy do I want to fucking read it, because boy does that sound so good. That sounds so good. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to read it. The next books I'm going to talk about again are just an author has books coming out. Don't really know what they're called, don't really know what's going to happen, but they're slated to come out in 2024, and I'm going to read them. And that is Madeline Miller. She has a Persephone retelling and a Tempest retelling. Persephone obviously being the Greek goddess of the underworld, and then the Tempest being a Shakespeare play. I read Song of Achilles. I did really enjoy it. I have yet to read Circe, but, you know, it's on my list. But both of these just sound fascinating. I am really excited to see Madeline Miller's take on a Persephone retelling, because, again, I feel like Persephone and Hades retellings are often mostly smut, which is totally fine. Obviously, I've read some of them and have enjoyed them, but I think it will be interesting to read a Persephone retelling that maybe is more focused on, like, character and story. I'm just interested to see kind of a different take on this sort of mythology. And then a Tempest retelling, I don't know. I bet it's gonna be great. I don't know, I think Madeline Miller is a super talented writer. Okay, the next book that I'm excited to read is The Housemaid is Watching. This is the 3rd book in the Housemaid series by Frida McFadden. I'm not really sure if this is the final book. It's going to be a trilogy, whatever, but this series is just super fun, quick, easy to read thrillers. I binged the first 2 books in the series in a day. Different days, obviously, but I think the series is just fun. I am also liking just the plot and our main character. I do this every time where I can't remember her name. Anyways, this is the 3rd book in the series. We focus on another thrilling plot. It's just going to be a fun thriller. I just love her books. I think they're really interesting. I think they're fun. They keep me on my toes. Fast and short chapters. Just highly recommend the series, and I'm excited to continue on with it. So, the next book that I'm going to talk about is actually by an author that I've never read before, but I do have books by them on my TBR. But this book is coming out in 2024, and I am insanely psyched to read it, and that is Savor It by Tara DeWitt. Look at this fucking cover. It is gorgeous. It is small town, and we have Sage, who gets dumped by her boyfriend and then kind of needs a win, and then we have Fisher Lang, who I think comes to this small town to kind of like restart his life after sort of crashing and burning in New York City. And they do partners. It says spicy summer fun, small town charm, and big feelings. I mean, that just sounds fun. It takes place in like the Pacific Northwest, and I really do love reading books that take place in the Pacific Northwest because that's where I am from. And I hope this will also kind of motivate me to pick up Tara DeWitt's other books, because all of her other books also sound really good. I don't know what to stop me from reading them. My own stupidity, maybe, but super excited to pick those ones up. The next book that I am excited to read is The Breakup Tour by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. This is a husband and wife duo that write romance books together. I read The Roughest Draft by them 2 years ago. Really wasn't that impressed with it, but this one is like Taylor Swift inspired, and as a huge Swiftie, I'm gonna need to pick it up. We focus on our main character who goes on tour, and then I believe her guitarist is like her ex, and the synopsis has a bunch of Taylor Swift references. I mean, the cover is very lover-coded. I just think this will be a fun little rom-com. I'm interested to see if I'll enjoy this book a little bit more than I did The Roughest Draft. I really wasn't a huge fan of this one, but I think this upcoming release just sounds way too good to pass up. The next 2024 release that I'm excited for is Come and Get It by Kiley Reid. Kiley Reid wrote Such a Fun Age, which I believe I read earlier this year. And I really, really enjoyed the complexities and nuances of that story. And it was like a mystery, but you didn't even really know what I just really loved that story. And so this is her new release. It is a fresh, provocative story about a residential assistant and her messy entanglement with a professor and 3 unruly students. I just think it sounds... I like literary fictions that have a little bit of, like, a mystery instead of just... I don't know. It sounds interesting. I really like Kiley Reid's writing, so we'll see how I like it. The next book we were talking about is called The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. Casey McQuiston is one of my favorite authors. They're the one that kind of started my love of romance. I know Ali Hazelwood really nailed it home, but for Ali Hazelwood, I read Red, White, and Royal Blue, and it changed my life. So they didn't release anything in 2023, which was unfortunate, but this is their next book, and it is 2 bisexual exes accidentally book the same European food and wine tour and challenge each other to an international hookup competition to prove they're over each other. And they are over each other, right? So again, you know, Casey McQuiston does a really great job with Queer Found Family. They do a really great job with representation. It's so refreshing to see bisexual characters in media because that is, again, hard to find if I'm being totally honest. And, you know, I just think this sounds so fun. Also, just like traveling through France, traveling through Spain, traveling through Italy, beautiful places. I think it's just such a fun setting, such an interesting concept. Casey McQuiston, again, is a fantastic author, and I am so excited to read their newest release. The next book coming out in 2024 is actually the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. It is called Somewhere Beyond the Sea. I'm not really sure what this book is about. Oh, we focus on Arthur, a resistance lovingly told about the dawning experience of fighting for your love. So I think this book just follows the events of House in the Cerulean Sea, which is a fantastic book. If you haven't read it, pick it up right now. Found family, magical children, super adorable. Definitely also a tearjerker. I think TJ Klune is a great author, and I still can't believe that I haven't picked up more of their books. But in my defense, they have a shit ton of fucking books. I'm just excited to pick this one up. I am excited to jump back into this world, excited to read more of TJ Klune's books. And the final book that we are going to talk about is Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. This is the author of Kaikeyi, and this is just another sort of mythological retelling. I think Kaikeyi was a fantastic, fantastic story, and I am so excited to read more from this author. This book is about Ganga, the joyful goddess of the river, and then she is cursed, and then her story goes from there. Ganga is a Hindu goddess of the river. I think it's really important to read books about things that you might not know about, and especially when they are beautiful feminist retellings, what's not to love? So those are the books that I'm most excited to read in 2024. I hope that you found some new books to be excited about. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Emma, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.